The Atlanta-based Fearless Fund continues their battle against forces who want to shut them down. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, in a 2-1 decision, granted Ed Blum's, the American Alliance for Equal Rights, the request to temporarily block the Fearless Fund from considering applications for grants only from businesses led by Black women. Joining us right now is Arian Simone. She's the CEO of the Fearless Fund, joining us from Atlanta. So let's be clear. We've had y'all on before. Y'all don't just support Black women. You support an array of women. Go right ahead.
That is correct, Roland. We invest and we also deploy grants to women of color. So Black, brown, Hispanics, Asians. Yes, we do. Any minority female, we definitely do.
But Ed Blum is specifically targeting y'all for Black women.
That is correct.
And so this appeal court's decision, because what, your grant application, the deadline, was it supposed to start Saturday, was supposed to end Saturday, and because of this now, you can't move forward with the grant application, correct?
That is correct. It was supposed to end on September 30th, and we received the ruling from the appellate court on September 30th.
How many different people applied for this grant?
Oh, I'm not sure as far as demographic-wise how many different people, but we typically get on average every application over 1,000. It's always over 1,000.
Right, but that's my whole point. So you had more than 1,000 people apply, which shows you the need. We're talking about $20,000 grants. And what white conservatives like Ed Blum don't care about, they don't care about the disenfranchisement of African Americans and other women. They don't care about the very few venture capital dollars that actually go to Black folks. They want to attack the economic lifeline of Black America.
Yes, this is clearly an attack on our economic progress as a people, as well as the progress post-George Floyd. After then, there were a lot of corporations in their DEI programs that deployed money to many organizations such as ours, the Fearless Fund, as well as the Fearless Foundation. And they are trying to reverse that progress. That is correct.
And look, y'all have done other media outlets. You've actually been speaking to various groups and have been sounding the alarm. Let's be clear. This attack is the first, you know, if you will, bomb being thrown. They want to go after everything that has been beneficial for the betterment of African Americans. It's not like it's been huge in terms of numbers, but the bottom line is they want to stop even that progress.
Yes, that is correct. How should I put it? Because I'm on your Unfiltered show, I normally wouldn't say this other places, but I guess white men feel so oppressed that they feel the need to do this. Even
though when we talk about the number of white men that control venture capital funds, we're talking about, and then you look at private equity, we're talking about what, 95, 97%?
Oh, yes. It's about 92% in PE and VC. The $62 trillion industry that we work in is majority white men. And those majority white men then invest in majority white startups, which then recirculate that wealth amongst that community. That is correct.
Even though the money that they get for the private equity comes from pension funds, and that's a whole lot of money representing Black, Latino, Asian, Native American, and female workers.
Oh, yes. Teachers, firefighters, police officers, you name it.
So what's next? This holds y'all in place. So what's next for the Fearless Fund?
What is next? I can't get too much into legal strategy on here, as well as what the plans are.
But you're appealing this decision.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's without saying. We are carrying this on to victory. Now, how we plan to carry it on to victory, I can't fully get into that, but we are taking this to victory. We are not backing down with this. You don't have to ever worry about that.
All right, Arian Simone, we certainly appreciate it. Keep up the fight.
Thank you so much, and thank you for bringing awareness to this, because it is not about us. We are the lawsuit. We are not the focus.
All right. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Lauren, I want to go to you again. You know, we spend time on this show sounding the alarm, and we talk about this election. I remember talking about just imploring our people. They're coming after school boards. This is what's going to happen when they come after school boards. They're going to be getting rid of black teachers and black superintendents and changing the curriculum. And then what happened? A lot of people fell asleep. Moms for Liberty, they sat here and ran people. And Steve Bannon was saying, we're coming after the school boards. We're coming after the election boards. We're coming after all of that so we can control it. Folks are like, yeah, we'll see. It's sort of like all these women who were sitting there going, well, you know, I know what they were saying about Roe v. Wade, but I never believed it. What are you talking about? They were telling you we're coming after it. So when somebody is telling you they're coming after it, believe them.
Yeah, well, it does seem like that the entirety of the Republican Party's ideology in this era has been about who they can stop from doing something and who they can control from doing something. And it's funny when you ask members of Congress, particularly again in this moment of dysfunction with the Republican Party in the U.S. House, you know, these Republicans like, what are you here for? What are you here for? They're always complaining about the swamp and being in D.C. and not wanting to be in D.C. I remember when Tim Scott first got into the House, that's all he would talk about. Finally, I said to him, well, why do you keep filing for re-election? Why are you here? But the entire ideology of the party, as black people in particular start to take power, as we can see, particularly on the judicial level, with these black prosecutors involved in these Trump indictments. They see that. They see the Black Caucus getting to 60 members. They see somebody like Don Scott on the precipice of being the first black speaker of the Commonwealth of Virginia. I mean, they see all of that. There's a record number of black folks, by the way, running in Virginia. I think that, frankly, to go back to something that Dr. Carr said on the show, they'd rather blow the whole thing up than to see us in charge of anything. I mean, it's sort of like they're not looking to work together or looking for some agreement on issues. And that's a sad thing, because there are a lot of things that can be agreed on that are just sort of bread and butter type things that are not particularly ideological. But instead of doing that, they want to dismantle everything before more black folks get into power. That's what I see, and certainly that was touched off by Barack Obama's election.
You know what, Nicole? I don't think they want to dismantle. I think what they're trying to stop is the dismantling. I think what you're looking at here, and again, when you see the attack on affirmative action, and then when you see the attack on economics, they are going after all of the programs that are being created in law firms, in corporate America, in the fellowships, in the scholarships. Because if you cut off the financial lifeline, because then you say, guess what? These black folks can't afford to go to school. So if you have these programs that are paying for education, that are paying for internships, we target those, we can shut the access to them and makes it harder for them. They are trying to prolong the ability of their white children being able to ease into the opportunities, because it's driving them crazy. They now have to compete.
Yeah, I mean, it's all in protection, all in service to the white status quo. And it's really trying to attack and undo any remedies in a post-civil rights America really triggered by Obama's election. You know, one of the most ridiculous examples of this is what's happening after marijuana reform in a handful of states. Not just decriminalizing marijuana possession, but actually creating a regulatory system for legalized marijuana and allowing people to have licenses so they can sell it legally. There's all these restrictions on who can obtain those licenses, which disproportionately impact Black residents who want to get into the legal weed market. And the people who are advantaged by the current system are white men, white venture capitalists, and other white folks who want to get licenses to legally sell weed. And the fact that in some of these states that have had decriminalization around marijuana, there's been a lot of intentionality in trying to set up the system to repair the harm and address the disproportionate impact of Blacks who've been targeted by the war on drugs, by marijuana enforcement, and allowing them to have access to the licenses. And any effort around that sort of reparative justice to address that has also been attacked under this white umbrella, this umbrella to protect whiteness in the system. So that's, in my opinion, one of the most egregious examples of the white status quo rising up to counter any efforts to repair the harm for Black people directly impacted by some of these policies that have driven racial inequality in the country.
And then what happens, Greg, when people who don't understand connecting of the dots, when they're sitting here saying, oh man, the CBC ain't doing this, ain't doing that. Well, guess what? If you look at a lot of these states, it's the Black caucuses in a lot of these states that have been stopping the legalization programs by saying, hold up, if you're not creating opportunities for the folk who are most impacted by arrest, then we're not moving forward with these programs. That's an economic argument. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And so what do you have? Oh, let the Black folks get thrown in jail when it was illegal, but the white folks gonna make the billions when it's now legal in these various states. And so I just wish more people would stop being so one-dimensional and begin to understand that there is a connecting of the dots between voting, between who's running, between economics, between education. So I love when these people who say, I want the government out of my life, when I say that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in your life, because the moment your ass is born, guess what? That birth certificate is a government document. And then when you get your shots, government document. When you got to enroll in school, government document. Hell, you got to pass state mandated tests to advance. Government document. And when you decide to sit here and get married, government document. Divorce, government document. And when your ass pass on, government document, a death certificate. So this notion that I want government out of my life is pretty much dumb as hell.
It is. And, you know, there's a basic lack of understanding or not connecting the dots that I think can be remedied. This is where education comes in. It's very important. And in this case, we certainly see that this is yet another step in, to quote Bill Fletcher, the attempt by the white nationalists to roll back the 20th century. Except this time, they're even trying to roll back everything that happened since the Civil War.
Right.
And take a, because of course the specific wedge they're trying to use here is the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which of course, as we know, was passed 2 years before the 14th Amendment was ratified in 1868. And that, of course, is the law that Congress passed to ensure that African people in this country would be extended citizenship and have the right to, among other things, make and enforce contracts the same as other people. And we know that since the major victories of civil rights legislation enabling those Reconstruction amendments of the 1960s, particularly in this case, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which is a different law than 1981, Section 1981, these white nationalists have been hard at work, including people like Ed Blum, to roll back the progress. Now, in this case, as we heard Sister Arian speaking, it seems that one of the legal strategies is going to be they're going to say, we're not making contracts with these grantees, we're extending them grants. Now, will that be able to be enough to pass the 11th Circuit and the Supreme Court? We'll have to see. But ultimately, what they have done is engage in what Derek Bell used to call in critical race theory, not to be confused with CRT, because people don't know what that is. Derek Bell called it colorblind constitutionalism. In other words, you pretend like you don't know why these laws were passed.
Right. Right.
They should apply to everybody equal to race. It is a legal fiction, and this is why, finally, as you're always reminding us, Roland, the federal bench matters. All of this can be reversed depending on who is the judge interpreting the statute.
That's it. Absolutely. They're trying to literally use laws that were passed to help us against us.
That's right.
That's what they're trying to do. Just like how John Roberts was so damn stupid trying to say, we could get rid of the Voting Rights Act, Section 4, because things have gone so well for black people who are voting. Fool, the reason it been going so well is because of the very act. And what happened when they then ruled Section 4 unconstitutional? The white nationalists begin to pass the very laws to roll back that very success. That's why it was there. They were afraid to do those things because the law prevented them from doing so. And so to everybody who's watching, understand, and I'm telling y'all right now, if you are black and you working in corporate America and you working in mainstream media, if you working in any company out there where they have created programs to increase the availability of African Americans and others in those spaces, they're coming after you. And they're not apologizing. So you might want to buckle up and get ready for the fight. All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, Curl Prep Natural Hair Solutions is an amazing organic two-step curl defining system for women, men, and children. You look at this video, you can judge for yourself. People line up to see this product in action at hair shows. When they take a seat to try it, they don't believe it is their hair. You can buy the products at curlprep.com. It works on all hair types. Use the code ROLAND, R-O-L-A-N-D, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount until October 21st. Now, it's just 2 steps, sweet butter and sweet defining gel, both at curlprep.com. And also, parents, you can remove the ouch. You will love this system because you can comb the product through your child's hair with your fingers. Seasoned Saints are loving the product as well, and the line has products that are great for twists, braids, locks, weaves, even those wigs and extensions. It's all at curlprep.com. Again, use the code ROLAND, R-O-L-A-N-D, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount. That is until October 21st. Trust me, you will not believe it is your hair. Go to curlprep.com.